In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to install window tint on a frameless window, or specifically a 2025 Tesla Model Y. First thing that I'm going to do is going to be wipe the outside of the glass to make sure I don't scratch my tint whenever I'm shrinking, cutting, or anything else. I'm going to be hand cutting, but with a pre-cut. I would just show you guys how to do it regularly, how to hand cut, but I forgot. So I made my pre-cuts and I'll show you guys what the process would look like. If I were to hand cut it, you just have to imagine it's a bigger piece of tint. I would line up my bottom edge and then I'd come cut my front, shift it forward, cut my back, shift it forward a tiny bit more so it's not over on this back edge, and then I would do the top cut. Now just imagine this is a big piece of tint. Take my Sharpie, come in here, mark my front edge. Then after I mark my front edge, take my knife and I'd come in here and cut my back edge, shift it forward just a tiny bit so there's the tiniest gap. It doesn't help that these Teslas have laminated glass, so it's a glass, and then typically they're very consistent. I've seen some crazy ones where the outside piece of glass is way bigger than the inside piece of glass. You basically have two different windows glued together, and this will get you very close, which is definitely good enough for a lot of people. I'm very picky, so I go further and I shave or I file afterwards. I'm gonna squeeze it in place, do my top cut. So I keep it the exact same angle the entire way through. I didn't love that, so I'm gonna do one more. There we go. Now all it's left to do is connect the dots, round the corners, and shrink it. So I've squeegeed my pattern in place. You would still have your front to cut. You see here, that's this right here that sticks out. It does stick out quite a bit. It's not going to be perfect. That won't really ever show because this is it in the up position that it only is in when it's closed. And right now it's open so you can see it. But when it's closed, it would be tucked into here. You definitely want that to look pretty. It's not going to be perfect. So you'll want to take note of that. But you see your Sharpie line here. You can really cut just right barely in front of it. But now what I'm going to do is connect my dots. I'm just going to follow this straight edge. I line up the straight edge, cut along it, and round this up pretty nicely. This for yours, you would come in here on your Sharpie line, and then wherever your Sharpie line ends, that's when you would start to curve up. Give it some material in front, and then just round your way to this top edge. Here I'm also connecting the dots. Round that back corner, same thing, the bottom one. Since this is a frameless window, every edge except for the front and bottom need to be as straight as possible because they will be visible. Your bottom edge and your front one will not, so they can be somewhat jagged, but if you're first starting, that's fine, but you really want to keep stuff as straight as possible.